Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I wanted to chat with you guys a little bit about how training and doing something that requires discipline and require us to better ourselves can carry over into our other mindset and how we can use that as a tool and a starting point for overall self-improvement, not just physical. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skill at my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. All right, guys. So, when we get on this topic of training and self improvement and everything else, I guess what I can highlight for you guys is partially what I'm doing even in my own journey. Because ultimately, people watch YouTube fitness videos because they want to know what their favorite YouTubers and stuff are also doing with stuff. This is kind of a cult of personalities. And in my case, my training this year, when I got really, really, really disciplined with my training again towards the end of last year, I've already made videos explaining kind of what happened, external factors and everything that derailed my training to some extent for a while. Of me getting really back on point and setting serious goals. I'm going to be honest, I didn't say it back then because I was worried about other blowback of, I started training really, really heavy again and doing all the singles and all my benching and everything again. Because, I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll go back later here and compete in powerlifting in my 40s again in the Masters, right? And so I started training for maximum strength again. I started my whole Bulgarian training. And along the way, things started evolving for me. And there's a lot of things that have gone on during that time in my own interpersonal life, my relationships with other people and things like that. Because, I'm not just a guy on YouTube who lifts weights in his bedroom. I am a real human being just like the rest of you, right? All of us are up here. We have our flaws, we're good and we're bad, and, we make mistakes and we do good things and bad things. It's just part of the way these things go. We're normal people too. And along that journey, I started getting really disciplined again with my training, and that was part of me doing, the everyday maxes, was to rebuild my discipline and my focus. And when I did that, my goals started shifting. It wasn't just, I want to get to this 500 squat again and all this other stuff. It started going, okay, I need to get leaner. Because, if I'm walking around at 250 pounds, these numbers aren't even really impressive. If I really want to better myself on multiple levels, I need to start losing body fat. Well, I started losing body fat, and that started shifting my goals. And it made me start addressing problems with myself. Because that's the thing, when we start changing even our fitness lifestyle, we have various emotional issues, and we have things inside of us that put blocks and stuff in our place towards reaching those goals. And by setting difficult goals, like at this point, I'm already down over 30 pounds, by the way. Thanks for those who've noticed. But yes, I am down something in the range of 33 to 36 pounds, something in that range since I started cutting way earlier this year. And I'm going to go the distance with that. But, as I'm training, and then I reached my overreaching state that you guys remember, like I actually pushed beyond my recovery ability. Then I've had the fat loss. The fat loss has made me, when I said, okay, I'm seriously going to do it this time, I'm going to get leaner, I had to address, because I had set this fitness goal related to lifting, because I also wanted to be a more efficient lifter. I had an ulterior motive to cutting. It was, I'm going to need to compete later in a lighter weight class, and I go back into powerlifting to be decent. Then I had to start thinking, well, there's health benefits too. I started thinking about all those things. But by me doing that and committing to that goal, I started realizing and having to address, not just because I have an extreme appetite, I do have an extreme appetite, I had to start addressing my bad relationship with food. And then I had to start addressing the internal mechanisms that causes me to have a bad relationship with food, because that's deep-seated stuff, isn't it? When we start addressing these issues that a lot of us have with body image and relationships with food and relationships with our self-image, it can dig up some powerful stuff inside of us. Your training and even the discipline of training can lead you down a road to where you have to be very, very critical of yourself and honest with yourself, where you have to do that. And in my case, that led to me realizing, there are my own set of ego and self-esteem issues inside that I have to address if I'm going to understand my relationship with food and why I get food cravings and need comfort foods and binge eating and all these other behaviors, stuff that I had to start addressing to myself, like why do I have this, and be honest with myself about it. And then with some of that, when I had to dig into that, I started realizing I don't like everything about myself. You know what I mean? For a long time here, I thought that I knew myself, and I do know myself. I thought I was comfortable with myself and who I am, and then I had to take a deeper look and say, I'm not really happy entirely with myself as a person. And it's crazy because I get silly trolls and other people who jump in here and say, oh, because you're a loser and you're broke. And it's like, dude, no, not even close. Not even close. I'm sorry, people way get that out. They missed the mark on that one. Again, it's very obvious with things that I have bought this year and everything else. I clearly am not broke. So that's absolutely not it. This channel is growing in terms of success. My income from it is growing pretty much consistently. That's actually not what it is. It's things about myself and the way that I have sometimes have treated other people. The way that I have viewed other people. Things like that made me start realizing that some of that was rooted in my own self-loathing and at times feeling like I was a bad person. And you know, it's interesting, and for me, someone had brought that up. Oh my God, I can't believe you said you become religious again and that you pray and that you've accepted Jesus Christ and this stuff. It's like, well, guys, you know why I did that? Because I felt I needed something external to make me a better person. And a lot of you guys would say, when I started doing that, well, you know, I don't believe in any of that. And that's okay. Man, that's okay. You have to believe what you have to believe. All right? This is all free choice. I mean, deciding what you're going to believe as far as any sort of spirituality or lack thereof is a very important personal choice. And that's entirely your own choice to make and figure out for yourself. I can't tell you what to do. But I know that for me, I realized that there were a couple things about myself as a person that I knew that I needed to improve on if I wanted to improve my self-image in certain ways, which would lead to improving my relationship with food, which would improve to me being a better athlete, which would improve to me having better body composition, better strength to weight numbers, all this other stuff. It led me down a journey of saying, I need to improve who I am as a person emotionally and spiritually. And I don't think that I can do that entirely on my own. I'm going to actually have to go to, in my case, God. I decided, okay, I'm going to go to God for this and ask God to help me be a better person. Now, a lot of you guys would say, well, that's crazy. I don't believe it. Well, okay, well, even if you're right, let's assume you're right, and there's no such thing as a God and any of this stuff, right? If that leads me to find the internal strength to be a better human being, and that causes me personally to be a less vengeful person, because I'm a very vengeful person. I'm like that is a very big personality flaw with me. It's one of my biggest ones. It's not what people interpret on the internet who don't know me. I'm speaking as someone who knows myself. That is a major personality flaw with me. And that was one of the things I actually, started praying about, which again can lead to your own internal mechanisms, was I don't want to be a vengeful person. I don't want to be a hateful person who hates other people who I feel have wronged me and hold vengeance against them. I don't think that's a good personality trait. Right? I don't think that's a good thing. And I want to learn to be more compassionate towards people who I can't get something from. Because we all tend to do that. We all tend to have a certain view of, oh yeah, we're going to be nice to people who we want something from. But what about people that we don't want something from? I realized a failing in myself is that I don't always have really what's the right amount of compassion for other people. So particularly someone who is maybe jaded, what's the word I'm looking for, has just rubbed me the wrong way. Or they've done something to piss me off. Of realizing and trying to bring myself to the point to where I understand that they're flawed people too. All right, people make mistakes. People make mistakes, and that when people wrong me, I need to be willing to forgive those people and accept them as valuable human beings in spite of that. Because I've made mistakes. If I'm a flawed person, and if I'm going to forgive myself for things I've done wrong in my life, then I have to be willing to forgive other people. All right, and that's again another reason I kind of push in the direction of religion, because I needed something to help teach me and push me in that direction of what I know that I need to be a better person, because that's what it comes down to, doesn't it? When we're trying to be disciplined and we're trying to fix bad habits and stuff that we have, even in training and diet and everything else, we've got to address it can force you to address these bigger pictures. And in my case, some of my deep down dislike of who I am is because I deep down don't believe that I'm a good person. And part of that is the things that I know about myself, and saying, okay, I need to find a way to correct these things. I need to fix these things if I want to be a better person. And that's the point I would make to people there. If you take a person who you say, okay, well, I don't think they should follow whatever this spiritual path is because I think it's nonsense. But if it leads to them being a less vengeful, more compassionate, more caring person about other people, is that a bad thing? If it causes them to be a genuinely better human being, and it teaches them to find value, more value in charity and compassion, and to maybe be less vengeful, less hateful, is that a bad thing? I would say it's not. I would say it's not. And for me, those were things that I knew that I needed, and that's things that I actually started praying for. I didn't go praying for, oh, I want riches and wealth, and I want this and I want that, or I want salvation. No, I just started praying to teach me to be a better person and to fix the things I don't like about myself and to help me to do so. It's about self-improvement, right? It's about self-improvement. And so ultimately, this progression put me down that path. And that's something to think about. When you start actually seriously training for self-improvement, it can force you not only to be more disciplined, but to start coming to terms with actualizing yourself sometimes. And it can be a progression of things. And I think it can be a very, very powerful tool for that. We know the health benefits are enormous. But when you start actualizing training to its potential, it can be a tool that can lead you to overall self-improvement as a person, just trying to be a better human being. Because that's part of what all this is too. We start training oftentimes because we want to improve ourselves. And once you start improving yourself in one way, it does make it easier to start working on other things, start doing internal housekeeping, right? And I think that's a lot of what it's all about. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.